Yeah. Well, this is I'm gonna tape a little bit of our discussion, Dad, just so we can have I can share it with my brothers and family.
Wow, look at this.
So
Huge buildings everywhere.
this is Dad and I cruising along in Destin here. We arrived yesterday at Eglin Air Force Base after connecting in. Where did we connect, Dad?
St. Louis?
Meet me in St. Louis. That's right. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Do you remember
It was
what?
a musical.
Yeah.
Is that Dan Daly?
I don't know it. You know it better than me.
He was a tap dancer that day, Dan Daly, and I forgot who the woman was. But they were in all the movies together. Just fantastic dancers.
Well, I thought that movie was about the World's Fair that was in St. Louis. Am I? Well, anyway,
Are you mixing that up with a movie, State Fair? Because the State Fair was about a fair deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That's in the past.
So we were just talking. So let's go back to that. So you call it the surfboard. So when we moved to Florida back in 1974, of course we lived at Eglin, which is the base we're going to go visit here probably tomorrow. And but you had that fishing boat that you bought, that you had, and then you rigged up this surfboard. You called it. Well, where'd you get that idea to do that?
Well, I just had a box there. I just put an eye bolt on the front of it so he could tow a rope. Put some rope on it so he could stand up.
Yeah.
It was a small lake and we went slow and you all were just learning, so.
Well, we were doing it, my recollection was we were in either like Choctawhatchee Bay. I think we were in the Bay Area. We were not on open ocean.
No.
But did you do that at the lake?
Oh yeah, at Grand Lake, we went behind the Garwood speedboat. Man,
Yeah.
you go 50 miles an hour. You hung on for dear life.
But was
If
that
you could control it by how you tilted the corner.
right? But was it that design that
Well,
we
it's
had?
just a plain round board.
Right. Yeah. With you put a hole in the board and
Eye bolt. So
okay.
You could tow
You
it.
attach the
Yeah.
So you're just directly attached to the boat, and then you've got a rope coming off of the board you're holding on to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have something today called wakeboarding, and it's very similar, except the rope's not connected to the wakeboard; it's connected to the skier.
Your feet's connected to the board.
Yeah. Anyway, so I remember when we would do that, and we would fall off, and before you could, react and stop the boat, that board would catch the water and go down. It would actually scoop the bottom, and when it would float up, there was like stuff from the bottom of the.
Yeah.
You remember? Did that happen at the lake?
Well, that was over at by Niceville at that little inlet waterway, because the water wasn't too deep. Some place it wasn't over knee deep or stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But it was a good place to learn. Wasn't too deep and everything.
So, what are your memories of when we first moved to Florida from? I guess we moved from Okinawa, right?
Well, we got orders from Okinawa to go to New Mexico, and we had shipped our baggage, household goods, and etc. And then the orderly room called me in and says, we got an emergency request. Would it break your heart if you went to Florida? I said, you gotta be kidding me. So then we come on to Florida in our furniture and went to New Mexico, and there was a little delay there, but we worked that all out,
Yeah.
So, that was one of the best surprises I ever got in the military. It was a good assignment from a bad one.
The bad one.
Well, in Mexico.
New Mexico. Clovis.
Yeah.
Was it Clovis?
Somewhere. I don't know. We got one base out there, and it's hot and sandy, and I figure Florida's bound to be better than that.
hot and sandy in Florida, too, but you got
but at least you're near water, and everybody could enjoy themselves.
So, what was your job here? What'd you do?
I worked out at Field 3.
Is it called Field 3 because there's actually a runway? Or why do they call it Field 3?
It was an old, I guess it was a small runway type where they just practiced takeoffs and landings.
Yeah.
and sort of had abandoned it, you know, with new, bigger, better aircraft. But they still had facilities out there. We had a medic, and we had a military police, and just 15 or 20 different people sort of protecting the place, and that's where they send us
Yeah.
to practice with our
Practice with your what?
with this radar.
Oh, okay.
Got
Yeah.
that little radar. No, that was up at that one was up at went to Cherry Point. Yeah, we went from here to Cherry Point and set up the radar out there. And then we had a tornado come through out there and hop, skipped, and jumped across the countryside and tore down one of our 20-man tents. And the guys were inside it sleeping.
Yeah.
About 3 o'clock in the morning. And blew our kitchen all to pieces. Hamburger, food was all over everything. So we had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the headlights on the vehicle. The people had been taking vehicles illegally, so they chained the steering wheel so nobody could touch them, and they aimed them out away from the kitchen instead of in. So all the work we were doing was in total dark by flashlights. They couldn't find anybody who had the keys to unlock the truck so we could get the headlights to working. So it was interesting. We survived.
But so okay, so your job here had to do with radar. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that portable radar. It was
Yeah.
in Vietnam. 3 guys could carry the radar, except for the source of power, which is your generator.
Right. You mean
It was all aluminum.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
And
So they could
this one guy that worked with me had come from Vietnam and had worked with the same type of equipment, so
Yeah.
he was familiar with it.
Mm.
Yeah, we just had a big 12 by 12 trailer or something like that, and mounted it in the middle. Put all kinds of. We had 6, I think it was 5 or 6 different filters around it, because the military always give us fuel that they couldn't use in airplanes, jet engines, helicopters, etc. So we got the junky stuff, and so the different filters filtered out the impurities and water and stuff, so we could use the fuel
Okay. To run the
to run our
generator to provide
yeah.
energy to the
so
radar.
we could
Yeah.
run, and that generator and radar was working just right during the